good news. We are in escrow on the building across the streets. Friday morning, which Fridays are my day off, but I just got a phone call from our real estate agent. He's like, "Hey, did you read the email?" And I'm like, "No, I haven't read the email." He's like, "Hey, they sent the offer back. They agreed to all of the terms." Now, what that means is that we offered them, and then they countered offer, and then we recountered, and they accepted all of the terms of our counter to their counter to our original offer. And so that's just how negotiations work. But it was truly just an answer to prayer. God was doing something, and man, it's really exciting what God has done. In the beginning of the week, I got an email from one of the financing places that we're looking to do, and they approved us for financing for the building, so we secured that. We're still trying to work with Coast Hills, and we're hoping that's the way we go, but we do have this as a backup, and so we're really excited. The way things will kind of work out, I believe we have things up there. Well, first of all, thank you guys for praying, because a couple times that we've sent things out to you guys, let you guys know, you guys started praying, and then we got like answers right away. And so I think God's trying to teach me a lesson in there. I haven't quite, no, I'm just joking. But we're going to try to be a little bit more communicative with you guys as we go. But basically what's going to happen is the way the financing works is that our monthly mortgage will be about $11,000 a month. Now, the great thing about it is that Coast Hills is going to lease back this space because they want to keep their branch over there and some other things, and their lease also leased to other organizations or businesses, and our real goal is to hopefully to be net positive. And what I mean by net positive is that we bring in enough income from leasing the property that we're not using, where it not only brings in the needed money for the mortgage, but also pays a lot of the expenses. And so what we would love for is the money that we bring in right here goes specifically towards ministry expenses. And so we're hoping that will happen, and our real estate agent is actually working on that as we speak. And so he has some irons in the fire that could work out, and we're asking you guys to pray for that. Now, the way that commercial real estate works out is a little bit different than residential, okay? And that is in the way the contingencies work out. Usually you have about 30 days to do contingencies for a home loan. And that means you got to get your inspectors in there, and there has to be an appraisal and all that kind of stuff. And they usually close a loan in around 45 days. Well, commercial, it's much longer. We have a 90-day contingency for all of that stuff, because it takes a lot longer to get appraisers and inspectors out, because commercial is a specialty thing. But also, too, on top of those 90 days, there's another 120 days contingency. And so the loan and the sale of the property is contingent on us being able to change what they call the conditional use permit. Okay, so right now the building is zoned not for churches. It's right below what our zoning needs to be, which is really favorable for us, so that we can change it just one little tick up for churches, because churches has a special zoning. And so we have to go through like a 5-month process on changing the zoning. But here's the great thing, and this is where God is so good. So about 3 years when we were going through this process, I was working with an architect down in Santa Barbara who's a believer. He's a good friend of mine, and he's an expert with working with the county. And so we worked together for a year, coming up with plans, and getting the whole conditional use permit process and application done. And we were literally ready to file the application when everything kind of fell through. So the great thing is that all that money that takes to get to that process and the application, it's all done. So we're ready to go forward. And so that's a big relief, because I spent a lot of time getting that done 3 years ago. And so we're really excited about this, but the church is not going to close. The building won't close until sometime in January. All right? And so our goal, if everything works out, is that we'll have services there in about 1 year. Sunday services. We'll move a lot more stuff over there. We're going to be moving our offices over there very soon. We'll have the youth room over there, and we'll be doing a lot of the ministry stuff over there. So how can you help? Well, the first thing that we would really ask you guys to do is to pray. We need to get the offices transitioned over. We need to lease the space that we have open. It would be really nice to have that leased before we close escrow. That will help us a lot with the financing. And then we need this conditional use permit process to go through. So I'll be sending this out in an email this week, so just go ahead and look for that. If you don't get emails from us, you need to make sure you go on our website and register so that you guys can get the content on this. But we were really asking you guys to pray for this and just really lift up this process, because even though this is exciting, there's still a lot more work to be done. And so we would really appreciate your prayer. And then the final way that you can help is by giving. These projects, God has, there should be no reason why we're even in the place to do this and for God to, except for the fact that God has taken us there. But 10 years ago, we bought this property at the lowest part of the market, and we got it way below market value when we bought it then. And that means that now we can sell it literally at the top of the market. and we have an incredible amount of equity that we're getting from the sale of this building. And so that gives us the ability to do the down payment, and we have a lot of other money saved up, but there's going to be other money necessary to make that building look like a church and get it functional. And so we don't know exactly what that number is, but this is what God put upon my heart a couple weeks ago. In Exodus, when Moses is building the tabernacle, they're out in the wilderness, and he simply tells the people this: if God moves upon your heart, and if you're led in the Spirit, then give towards the building of the tabernacle. And that's all he said. That was like the world's shortest capital campaign ever. But God spoke to me that time, because it was we're going through all this stuff. And here's the thing, all we're asking is that, above your normal tithe and offering every month, that if God leads your heart and he's moving in your spirit to give, that you give. And that's it. That's about all the pressure we're going to put upon you guys, because we want it to be a joyous occasion. We want it to be something that's led by the Lord. And so, and you can give in our tithe offerings. There's a little thing that says building. You can check on that, or you can go on our website, and there's actually a drop-down thing for a building that's there too. So, but we're not going to put a lot of pressure on you. We're just going to take what God brings in, and we're going to do with that, and we're going to expect God to multiply it and use it for his glory. But we believe that there is a part. God has taken us 95% of the way for everything. But I believe he's expecting us for that last 5%. And so there has to be an investment on our part. So anyways, I want to let you guys know about that. And if you have any questions, feel free to talk to me. I can explain things further, all right?